No parent should ever have to go through this.
The death of a child is unimaginable to most.
I feel like I'm having a bad dream that I can't wake up from.
I was going to take Sam to school.
It was all over the internet. Houston, Texas. 5-year-old Samuel Olson was taken by an unknown male from a southwest home in the 8800 block of McAvoy Drive at about 7:30 a.m. on May 27, 2021. Samuel was wearing a gray t-shirt with a red Kool-Aid man on the front of his shirt, jean shorts, and white Buzz Lightyear tennis shoes. Samuel was also wearing 2 mismatched superhero socks. Samuel has golden brown hair, but he also has a patch of white hair on the back right side of his head. He's missing 2 of his bottom teeth, and he has a crease or pointed area on the top left ear. If you know of his current whereabouts, or if you have any information whatsoever concerning Samuel's disappearance, please call the Houston Police Department or Texas EquiSearch. It was all over the internet, and the search began, only to find out that it was a story concocted by his dad's girlfriend, and that Samuel was dead several weeks before. I can tell you all that and still say to you that Samuel's story gets worse, but we need to tell it. Spoiler alert, we did find Samuel. Of course not the way we wanted to, or I wouldn't be telling this story. There is ultimately a happy ending, because just recently, Teresa Balboa, the villain in this story, she pled guilty and was sentenced to 52 years. So this is for Samuel Olson. And we're going to start at the beginning like we always do. And let me tell you his story.
That is my whole world. And I couldn't imagine if anything happened to him, and I believe that he's still out there.
Teresa, I was going to take Sam to school when his mother showed up with a police officer, or what I was under the impression to be a police officer, and they demanded me to release Sam.
Texas EquiSearch volunteers on Houston's southeast side are looking for a 6-year-old boy. His name is Samuel Olson. We're told he went missing from his home on the southwest side last Thursday. EquiSearch says Samuel was taken by an unknown man, and right now they're looking in an area, as you see here, near the Gulf Freeway and Dixie Farm Road. So far, no word on what led them to this specific area.
So the search begins in hopes that he'll be found, obviously with the main suspect being the ex-girlfriend, because she was the last one to see Samuel alive. When she was interviewed, this is what she said.
And we're going to continue to search until we find him.
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
Somewhere with... not with us. And that's the important thing, is that he is not with us, and we need to bring him back to us. So I can't say where he could be, where he might be, like, because honestly, we don't know. At this point, we don't know. All we can do is keep searching and doing, everything we've been doing, and we're going to continue to do it.
You think he's definitely alive?
Oh yeah. We just keep picturing him sitting, watching cartoons, waiting for us. Just sitting there waiting for us, and we're going to get him. We're going to find him.
Tell me about your relationship. Did he call you mom? Or at least
Super mommy. That was his choice. It wasn't forced. We didn't force him, because I don't want to force that. But he used to call me Super Mommy or Teresa. It was still uncomfortable for him. Because he's little. He's a kid, and he knows who his mom is. But he also knows that how much I care about him and everything that I've been doing for him and have done for him. So we're gonna find him. I know we're gonna find him.
His father was distraught, and some people wanted to know why the hell he left his kid with her. with her history.
We understand this was not the first time Balboa has been in trouble with the law.
I can't fathom why there is little, if any, public outrage.
Andy Kahn of Crime Stoppers is perplexed. He views the case of 6-year-old Samuel Olson as another example of the failure of bond reform. Teresa Balboa, the girlfriend of Olson's father, is charged with tampering with evidence. The 29-year-old out on a personal bond issued last November by Harris County Judge Eva Flores following the alleged assault of Dalton Olson. His breathing impeded, according to court records.
And his interview was different for me than a lot of them that I've seen. I actually saw emotion.
First off, if you say your name, spell it for me.
My name is Dalton Olson, Dalton Olson.
Dalton, this must be some rough times. Can you tell me what it's been like?
I feel like I'm living in a nightmare I can't wake up from. No parent should ever have to feel this. I can't eat, I can't sleep. I'm at a loss for words, man.
I understand. Have the police told you anything or given you any?
We're doing our best right now to get out there and search for him. We're trying to cooperate and give them everything. We've given them everything that we can. Any little information we think is important or even as insignificant as we think it is, we still hand it over. We're just trying to do everything we can to play our part to help bring my son home safe, because that's all that matters at the end of today is please help me find my son.
What was your son's name?
His name is Samuel Olson. He just turned 6 years old on the 29th. He has a little bit of shaggy hair on top, shorter on the sides.
Yeah. And you said you're going to be passing out some flyers?
Yes, sir. We're all in the area. We've been in the Pasadena, LaPorte area passing out flyers. Right now we're over here on the southwest side of Houston passing out flyers. We're going to go to the area where he was last seen, and we're going to pass out flyers. I mean, anywhere we can just hand out anything for somebody if they've seen something. I mean, any little bit of information will help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The police say the last time they can independently verify his location is on April 30th when he was at school. Speaking to his paternal grandmother today, though, she says she had Sam with her that following weekend and says she heard him on the phone a little over a week ago.
He is the sweetest, kindest, most loving child. He's so smart. He loves dinosaurs. He can tell you which ones are herbivores and carnivores, and he puts them in the hibiscus trees and lets them eat, and he loves Buzz Lightyear and Woody and Forky, and he's got a really funny personality, and he jokes about my name because I'm his egg. We just need information on anybody that knows anything to please contact HPD or EquiSearch, Tim. They're all working very hard. This case is very confusing, like HPD said last night. There's conflicting stories. They're sorting out those issues at the moment. The last person Sam was seen with was with Teresa Balboa. Last night, I know you guys are all aware of this because we just found out last night and we are devastated. We can't find her now. So this is turned. The most important thing is anybody who knows where she's at to please contact HPD. Teresa, if you're watching this, you need to contact HPD. If you're telling the truth, you have God on your side. My son and all of us know nothing. We are shocked. We are devastated for everybody involved. And to clear up that rumor that nobody's seen Sam since April 30th is a lie. I just provided you guys with pictures with dates. He was with us. Dalton is not a bad father. He would never harm that baby. He loves him to death. He would die for him. And if you're a parent, you understand what he's going through right now. And the possibility of trusting someone you thought you knew could do this. We have to have answers. Now, whether the other family's involved, I don't know. But whoever it is, this is Sam. He just turned 6. We didn't even get to spend his birthday with him. And I would like anybody out there to donate to EquiSearch because they have been truly amazing through all this. Tim and everyone, all the searchers, they need supplies, y'all. They need Gatorade, they need water, they need off, they need towels, anything that you guys can provide out there when you know that we're going to do another search for Sam. Please just drop something off for those people that are taking the time and have to do this kind of thing. May 2nd is the last time I physically had my hands on Sam. Yes. And we're not going to go into that. We're going to let the detectives sort all that he said, she said, crapola out. She has been with us since day one. And she has been helping search. She has, from Friday, she's been in with investigators several times. She's given up her phone. My son, we've all given up. We've all been interviewed. So now we don't understand what's going on. We just need to get to the bottom of this for Sam. We need to know where he is, that he's safe and he's coming home. Yesterday at 4:15. Yes. He is devastated. No. She was on the other side of the road handing out flyers. Dalton went down the other side, and that was it. You'd have to ask Dalton. Everything's just a blur right now. But Dalton has seen and talked to Sam. So that's another thing. They're trying to pinpoint dates down. So, again, any information, anybody that may have saw something and not realized it, just notify HPD. None of this makes any sense. None of it. Again, I want you to talk to detectives about this because the statements have already been made. I don't want to say something that would mess up their investigation. It's very important because they are doing everything they can to figure this mess out. So please, if you're going to report something, make sure it's correct. Make sure. I've been quoted saying that I had custody. I never said that. So again, this stuff is very important because people are watching what you guys are doing. And they're muddying the waters for detectives, which means they're going on false leads, wasting time and energy and resources on stuff that doesn't even pertain to this. So that is my main thing today. And every day is going to be we get the right news out there at the right time so detectives don't have to spend 10 minutes on something when they can be 10 minutes on Sam. Sam hasn't been with his mom since January of last year. Yes. Again, I'm not discussing any of the details of that.
We can't indulge anything on that front.
I cannot discuss any of that. Again, like I said, it really doesn't even matter what happened before. We have to find Sam now. And that is our biggest thing.
That's the goal.
That is our goal. As a mom, and as a grandma, if If you know anything or you think your child is capable of this, you need to sit them down and pray with them and make them do the right thing. I know it's hard to have to think that you love somebody and somebody could do something. But we need to know, and you need to face whatever consequences for your actions. I think this is now bumped up. I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate. I'm just going to let the detectives do what they have to do, and that's what Dalton and all of us are doing. Yes, she does. She's been very good to Sam. Does flashcards with him, takes him to the beach, plays with him. Just bring Sam home. Just bring Sam home. This can't go on anymore. We need to know where he is. Where he is, and that he's safe, and that he's good. And that way he can have a birthday party. And he spent a lot of time with her. I'm not getting into any more of that. Like I said, I've given you everything I can give you. Again, talk to detectives. I do Again, I am not going to get into this because we don't know what the detectives are working on. We don't want to give any information out that somebody may run, somebody may leave town, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we don't want to even speculate on anything. Just let the detectives do what they have to do. I think the detectives need to give you that stuff because, again, I don't want to put any false information out there.
It's a better question to ask him.
Did you ask him any plans for his birthday on Saturday?
Yes, we did.
We were going to have a party here at the house for me.
But if it was going to rain, we were going to go to pizza. And Egg loves you, baby. Uncle Wai-Wai loves you. Papa loves you. Daddy loves you. I know your mommy loves you. I know that your Mimi loves you. I know all your aunts and uncles and cousins and everybody loves you and misses you. And we're gonna see you soon, honey. I promise. I promise, Sam. I promise. I'll never give up.
Sam's grandmother says they have now lost contact with her son's girlfriend, but she has no idea where her grandson is. She just wants to find him.
Just bring Sam home. Just bring Sam home. This can't go on anymore. We need to know where he is. Where he is, and that he's safe, and that he's good. And that way he can have a birthday party.
Now, police searched this apartment yesterday and towed a car overnight after getting a tip that this was the last place that Sam was seen.
I think you get the gist of what's happening here. Teresa Balboa is not who she claims to be, but she stays by this man's side the whole time, and you won't believe what had already happened. According to the initial autopsy report, Samuel died from homicidal violence with blunt head trauma. According to new court documents, Sam was struck with a blunt object.
After searching several days, police found the body in a tote bag inside of a motel room in Jasper. His father, Dalton Olson's girlfriend, Teresa Balboa, is now jailed and charged with tampering with evidence.
Many questions still unanswered about the case. His attorney says right now, Dalton is with family and friends as they process what's happened.
Look at the pain in his face. Or is it guilt? Because he is guilty of something, y'all. He allowed his son to be with this woman. So he put his son in danger, but he's not behind bars. And Samuel's mother didn't like that very much.
Tell our son's story. Stop being silent. Let us know what happened to Sam. There's no way you didn't know. Hi, I'm Sarah Olson. I want to start off by thanking everybody for the prayers and the support and for helping bring justice to my son. I want to thank the media for getting his story out there. It's been a long time. It feels like it's been a long time. And it feels like it's also just begun. And I'm thankful that someone's finally being held accountable for my son, and I'm hoping more justice gets served.
Can you talk a little bit about your first reaction, your initial thoughts when this news came out yesterday?
Honestly, I was a little angry. I am thankful for her getting charged for the murder, but I know for a fact someone else needs to be charged, and he's still out there, just running around free.
Who is that person, Sarah?
It's Sam's father. It's Dalton Olson. He was supposed to keep our son safe, and he didn't. He took him away from me. For what? To have him murdered?
Sarah, there are now 3 people who have been charged here, including the 2 gentlemen who are accused of helping Miss Balboa dispose of and transport Samuel's body. As prosecutors work to put this case together, what do you expect from them in terms of what they know about what happened to your son and what they should be talking about and telling prosecutors as they work this case? Or any thoughts on that?
I just hope they did say everything. And for everyone that was involved, I hope they did name them. I hope the police do know and are just keeping us in the quiet, because it is an open case still. I'm thankful that they did come forward, because without them, who knows? Who knows where my son be?
Can you describe just, you talked about waiting for this moment, because you've been waiting for this. I know the words are hard to come by, but just describe what your family's been going through, Sarah.
We've been going through a lot of pain, not knowing, and it's anger. We have anger, and we just want all those that are responsible to be held accountable.
So can you talk about if you were able to finally closure, get closure remaining the baby?
We were finally able to cremate Samuel. I was able to take his ashes home
on, I believe it was the 27th. We'll be holding a private service for him tomorrow.
What did that mean for you that you were finally able to go through that process? After waiting days that it take, in your heart it was like so long.
Honestly, I was waiting so long to get my son back. This isn't how I wanted to celebrate him coming back. So it hurts. It hurts having to do this. Because it wasn't supposed to be like this.
Sarah, is there an ability for you to be consoled or counseled through this? I mean, no one can imagine experiencing what you're experiencing and what you're living. I mean, how are you getting through it?
My faith in God is strong. The prayers, my prayers, y'all's prayers, I believe that really is getting me through this. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know how I'm standing here talking to you. I don't know how I'm processing it other than I have faith in God. And that's it.
Sarah, what's next for you, I guess, as this moves forward? What are you going to be doing?
Living day by day, being the best I can at whatever I'm doing. Life's hard, and it just got a lot harder. So
I was a little bit frustrated that it takes so long for somebody to get charged in the death of your baby.
it was very frustrating. It was all honestly, the person that I feel really needs to be charged is still walking around. And that's really what I'm waiting for.
What should he be charged with, you think? What did he do wrong?
He originally kidnapped my son from me. And then he put him in harm's way. Knowing there was a court order against Teresa Balboa, he handed our son to him? You endangered our child. And who knows what else happened? Only he knows, and he's sitting there silent.
Have you heard from him?
He tried contacting me about a week after they found Samuel, but I did not answer his phone calls.
If you were to talk with him, what would you say to him? If you're watching, what would you want him to know personally from you?
Tell our son's story. Stop being silent. Let us know what happened to Sam. There's no way you didn't know.
What about Teresa? What if you had a conversation with her right now?
I have no words for her.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anything else you want to share, Sarah, before? Anything else that's on your heart?
Just thank you all. Thank you for getting my son's story out there. Continuing to share him, thank you.
Do you have any message to other parents, moms, that probably are facing similar situation that you were living last year?
Keep fighting. Just don't stop fighting for your babies. Do whatever it takes. Just make sure they're safe.
Heartbreaking. The only word that will come out of my mouth right there. Heartbreaking. I have nothing but love and respect for mothers that are dealing with these types of things. Because like Sarah, I don't know how you stand up at all. I don't know how you keep from going completely homicidal. I don't know. Suicidal? So many things that you might see as a way out as opposed to dealing with this type of pain. Thank you for your strength and your courage. And we will certainly help tell Sam's story. And I really need to give a trigger warning now. Everything you're going to hear next is from the affidavit, because what they did to him, I cannot paraphrase. On May 31st, 2021, Benjamin Rivera gave a statement. Rivera stated that on or about May 10th, 2021, he was called by his roommate, the defendant. The defendant informed Rivera that the complainant was deceased. Rivera stated he left work and returned home to 15603 Gulf Freeway, Webster, Harris County, Texas. Rivera stated he observed the complainant unresponsive on a bed. He stated he also observed bruising on the CW's body. Rivera stated that he and the defendant placed the complainant's corpse in a bathtub where he remained for 2 days. On May 13th, 2021, Rivera stated he purchased duct tape and a plastic tote at a local Walmart. A receipt for this purchase was later found during this investigation. Rivera stated that he and the defendant wrapped the complainant's corpse in plastic sheet, placed the corpse in a plastic tote, and placed the tote in Rivera's motor vehicle. Rivera stated that he and the defendant then drove the corpse to and placed the corpse and plastic tote inside a storage unit located at 16650 Highway 3, Webster, Harris County, Texas. So yeah, I warned you, but it doesn't end there because she enlists another associate to help her further her plan, which we still don't know exactly what that was, but this is what he did. His name is Dylan. On June 1st, 2021, at approximately 17:29 hours, 5:29 in the evening, the Jasper Police Department received a Crime Stopper tip related to a kidnapping case from Houston, Texas. The tip stated that the defendant, who was described as a white female, approximately 5 foot 3 inches tall and 180 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes, was in room number 106 at the Best Western Motel, located at 205 West Gibson in Jasper County, Texas. The tip also indicated that the defendant was possibly in possession of a missing child described as a 6-year-old white male who recently went missing from Houston, Texas. Sergeant Beckman, Corporal Clint Fowler, Officer Lewin, and Officer Gray of the Jasper Police Department were dispatched at approximately 17:34 hours, 5:34, to the Best Western Motel located at 205 West Gibson, Jasper County, Texas. Sergeant Beckman knocked multiple times on the room door without response, and he was provided a spare key by the manager of the motel. The manager advised them that the person registered under room 106 was a male by the name of Dylan Walker, date of birth 5/30/1994. After reviewing surveillance footage from the Best Western Motel, we observed a maroon Dodge Ram truck arriving at the motel at approximately 3:30 a.m. The truck was later identified to be a 2015 Dodge Ram truck, license plate NBD 4650, which was registered to Dylan Ray Walker. The surveillance video shows a male entered the motel lobby and proceeded to check in. The surveillance video then shows the male return to his truck and drive into the parking lot of the motel and park the truck near room 106. A tote with a yellow lid is observed sitting on the bed of the truck. The surveillance video then shows the male and female exit the vehicle and entered room 106 at approximately 5:59 a.m. The male is observed exiting room 106 and walking to the rear of the Dodge Ram truck. The video shows him get the black tote from the back of the truck and proceed to drag the tote into room 106. The male shortly exits the room and drives away in the Dodge Ram truck. Dylan Walker provided his Texas driver's license at the Best Western Motel upon check-in on June 1st, 2021 at approximately 3:30 in the morning. Dylan Walker's address was learned from his Texas driver's license, which was provided to Texas Ranger R. Clendenin. Client learned that Ranger R. Clendenin obtained a voluntary interview with Dylan Walker, who provided information on the transport of the storage container. Affiant learned that Dylan Walker stated that he received a phone call from the defendant on May 31st, 2021, who stated she needed help because she was involved in an altercation. Affiant learned that Dylan Walker met with defendant in Cleveland, Texas, in a Walmart parking lot. Dylan Walker stated that on May 31st, 2021, he drove the defendant to Webster Harris County, Texas, to a storage unit and picked up a storage container which had a foul odor. Dylan Walker stated he then drove the defendant to Jasper, Texas and checked her into the Best Western Motel. Dylan Walker stated he removed the storage container from the bed of his pickup at approximately 6 a.m. on June 1st, 2021. And left the Best Western Motel property and went home. Dylan Walker stated he then called into Crime Stoppers to report the defendant's location and the location of the container containing the complainant.
So I want to give you a look at what's happening out here at the Best Western Inn here in Jasper, Texas. Over here you can kind of get an idea of the law enforcement presence out here this evening. Here's just a look at some of the Jasper County Sheriff's deputies, also Jasper Police Department officers, and some others here who are investigating this case right now. Now we are told that the mother of the 6-year-old boy was notified sometime earlier that this discovery had been made here at this motel.
Samuel Olson, the dinosaur-loving 6-year-old, found dead in room 106 at a Texas Best Western Motel 130 miles from home.
Police say they are questioning a possible suspect in Samuel's disappearance and death.
In police custody is Samuel's father's girlfriend, Teresa Balboa. She was found in the motel room with Sam's body stuffed inside a tote bag.
It is absolutely heartbreaking, absolutely. And as far as a motive, we do not have a motive at this point in time.
The girlfriend has been under suspicion since giving a bizarre TV interview claiming that Sam had been abducted by his mother and a guy posing as a cop.
I was going to take Sam to school when his mother showed up with a police officer, or what I was under the impression to be a police officer, and they demanded me to release Sam. They said I would go to jail because I have no rights to him, so I had no choice but to hand him over.
She stood side by side with Samuel's father, Dalton, as he made an emotional appeal for his son's safe return.
I just want to bring my son home safely.
Find Sam and bring him back.
I can't even think. I can't sleep. I can't hold down any food. I'm just concerned because that's the most important thing in my whole life.
She called Samuel her baby. She said that she worked with him on his schooling. She told us that he called her super mommy. We didn't see many tears from her during that time.
Samuel's devastated grandmother joined in the search for the boy who loved the movie Toy Story.
Everybody loves you and misses you. And we're gonna see you soon, honey. I promise. I promise, Sam. I promise.
As the investigation continued, the girlfriend's story began to fall apart. It turns out Samuel hadn't been seen in a month.
I can't say where he could be, where he might be.
With capital murder, Harris County prosecutors are hoping to keep Teresa Balboa in jail, saying she's responsible for the death of 5-year-old Samuel Olson. The little boy's body was found in June in a plastic bin inside a Jasper motel room. That's also where they arrested Balboa. The child was reported missing 5 days before he was discovered, and Balboa was the one who reported Samuel missing. But police said there were holes in her story from the beginning.
And after she did the interview with the news, I told her, I said, Teresa, now
You've lied to the entire world. Said this girl right here you're sticking up for has everything to do with it. And that's when she decided she needed to go in Ben's apartment and change clothes.
He believes the pressure he put on Balboa during the search is what forced her to flee with Sam's body.
I know exactly what she did. She went in Ben's apartment and she says, hey, you know what? We got to get out of here. There's too much heat going on. She went in and changed clothes, of course, and then it was shortly after that she disappeared.
Right now is Tim Miller from Texas EquiSearch. And let me tell you something about Miller. Tim Miller's daughter was murdered, and he has devoted his life since that time to helping to find missing people. Just like you might get up and I might go to the DA's office, or Jackie might come to the studio. He gets up every morning and tries to find missing people, wading through water, riding horseback, riding an ATV, bringing out the cadaver dogs, the scent dogs, every day. Tim Miller, thank you for being with us. Who is Teresa Balboa?
Well, we got called on this on the Friday after little Sam apparently disappeared. We knew in the beginning there was no truth whatsoever. Some police officer came up and took that child. Now, that Sunday night...
How did you know that at the very beginning, Tim Miller?
Well, I mean, her stories were fabricated. We knew where Sarah was, the biological mother, so we knew no mother was there with no police officer.
And let me understand something, Tim Miller, EquiSearch. The grandmother did not have Sam when he goes missing, correct? It was the girlfriend.
It was the girlfriend. And you know what was crazy about that? I got Dalton in my house the night before we started the search, and I said, Dalton, what do you know about this guy, Ben? And he said, well, nothing. I said, when's the last time you talked to him? He said, never. I said, are you telling me you were allowing your fiance and your 5-year-old child to be staying with an ex-boyfriend? And he said, well, Teresa said he's a good guy, he helps her out. So, you know, I was kind of...
Whoa, wait a minute. So the 6-year-old was with the dad's girlfriend and her ex?
With the ex. Supposedly, Sam got sick. They thought he had COVID. They didn't want him to be around the grandfather. So Teresa said, I'll go to my ex-boyfriend's house. He's a nice guy. And so anyhow, I was with him till 1:20 in the morning at my house with Dalton, his father. The next morning, we started the search. And I did an interview, and Teresa was down there, and I told Teresa, I said, Teresa, you need to do an interview. You need to tell the whole world what happened, and people will be looking. Maybe we'll get Sam back safe, which I knew that wasn't the case. She didn't want to do it,
Wait, so Teresa Balboa did not want to speak publicly?
No, but finally, I forced her into it. And then when she got done doing it, I went over to her and I said, Teresa, every word you just said to the world is nothing but a lie.
Tim, how did you know immediately that she was lying?
I mean, it was obvious. We knew where Sarah was at that time. We knew that she was lying. There was of any police officers or anything, or CPS. There was nothing. So again, I tricked her into doing that interview, and when she got done doing it, I said to her, every word you just told the entire world is a damn lie.
What did she say?
Well, I didn't let her say anything. I told her, I said, 2 years ago today, I was in Arkansas bringing back the body of little Malia Davis. And if you think I want to be here today, you're crazy as hell. You know exactly what happened, and you need to talk to God right now. You and him have a lot to talk about. And I said, we're getting this over with today. I said, do you understand? And I'm yelling at her. And she just looked at me with them cold eyes and said, yes, sir.
When you say looked at you with cold eyes, what do you mean by that?
I mean, there was no emotion. There was no tears. There was no nothing.
Okay, a 5-year-old little boy with a wobbly tooth. What else do you know, Tim Miller?
Well, you know, the father just kept sticking up for Teresa. And then about 3:30 that afternoon, they were down at the end of the apartment complex outside the fence, and I seen that the ex-boyfriend was outside. So I went down there, and again, I'm talking loud, and I say to Dalton, I say, Dalton, again, I have a problem. How in the world can you leave your child with somebody in this apartment complex you never seen in your life? And again,
are you there? You're cutting out on me. Guys, you're just going to have to bear with me because Tim Miller is already out at a scene looking for someone, a missing person right now. He's going in and out. Do I have Tim? Did he come back in? Tim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Tim. So the word is that the boyfriend helped her dispose of the body?
All right, let me go back to when I lost you. But anyhow, we're down there close to where the boyfriend lives, and I'm telling Dalton again, Dalton, I can't understand you allowing your child to stay in this apartment complex right over here with somebody you don't know. And ex-boyfriend, Ben, he's outside. And I says, and again, this person right here that you're sticking up for is 100% responsible. And then Dalton starts literally shaking and crying and hits the ground. And then he said, well, you don't understand about Sarah. Last year, she almost ran over me. I said, you're right. She almost ran over you. But guess what? Your son is not almost missing. And you keep sticking up for this girl that had everything to do with it. And then what happened then is Teresa said that she wanted to go in Ben's apartment and change clothes. Well, she did go in Ben's apartment. She came out with a change of clothes, but I know exactly what the hell happened. She went in there and said, Ben, it is getting hot right now. We got to make our move. Then I told them, listen, you got all these flyers, go pass flyers out. So they're on this street, they're passing out flyers. Teresa says, look at the apartments across the street. I see people outside, I'm going to give them flyers. She went over there, they waited. She did not come back. Dalton comes to the command center. He's crying his eyes out. Teresa's gone. She's gone. And I went to homicide detectives and I said, listen, maybe the best thing happened. Teresa just bailed. And they said, yep, she bailed. That's the best thing that happened. Now maybe we can make progress. So I think when I pushed her so hard at that end, she went in and told Ben, we got to get the hell out of here.
Capital murder charges now filed in the death of little Samuel Olson.
Lynn, Teresa Balboa has been in jail since she was arrested in Jasper County more than a month ago on June 1st. Balboa was brought here to Harris County Jail 3 days later, at first only charged with tampering with evidence, namely a corpse. Now she has the additional charge of capital murder. Samuel Olson's body was found in June in a plastic bin inside a Jasper motel room. The child was reported missing 5 days before he was discovered. Balboa was the one who reported Samuel was missing, but police said there were holes in her story from the beginning. According to the initial autopsy report, Samuel died from homicidal violence with blunt head trauma, and new documents say Sam was struck with a blunt object. 2 others, including Balboa's roommate, were charged with tampering with evidence in Sam's death, and Balboa is currently being held on a $500,000 bond for her tampering with evidence charge. Her next court appearance is July 12th. The DA is asking for no bond on that capital murder charge, but that will be determined at her next court appearance.
We're going to do her not present. She was arrested pursuant to a warrant for her arrest for the felony offense of tampering with evidence, namely a human corpse. The fact that it's a warrant means that probable cause has already been found by the judge who signed this arrest warrant. Her case has been assigned to the 180th District Court. The judge in that court is Deshaun Jones. Mr. Henderson, did the Public Defender's Office get the opportunity to interview Ms. Balboa?
We did speak to Ms. Balboa, yeah.
Okay, so do you have her consent to represent her at this bond hearing?
We do.
Ms. Keith, what is the state's request with regard to bond?
I'm urging the state's motion requesting a $500,000 bond, and I am opposed to a personal bond. The facts set forth in this warrant are terribly disturbing. Specifically, this 6-year-old complainant's father had reported his son missing after he had been in the custody of this defendant. This defendant was interviewed, told the police that the complainant's biological mother and an unidentified individual that she claimed represented himself as a police officer had taken custody of the complainant from her residence or from a residence in Harris County without consent. An employee from the complainant's school advised that the complainant was last at school on April 30th, 2021, which is when which is a month prior to when this defendant claimed that the complainant's mother had taken non-consensual custody of him. That defendant's statements were refuted by the surveillance footage provided by the complainant's mother, showing her at her own residence at the time the defendant claimed that she had come and taken custody of this complaining witness. The complainant's father told officers that the defendant told him on May 27th that the mother had come and taken custody, all of which was refuted by that surveillance video. Another individual, who is this defendant's roommate, told officers that he had seen the complainant at a residence on the Gulf Freeway on May 27th, 2021, along with this defendant and this defendant's mother, and that on May 10th, he stated he was contacted by the defendant, who advised him that the complainant was deceased, that he did observe bruising to the complainant's body when he arrived to that address on the Gulf Freeway, and that he and this defendant had placed the complainant's body in a bathtub where it remained for 2 days, that he had purchased duct tape and a plastic tote at a local Walmart on the 13th, which was verified by a receipt that was recovered, and that he and this defendant had wrapped the complainant's body in a plastic sheet, placed it into the tote, and took it to a storage unit located in Webster, Harris County, Texas. On June 1st, the Jasper Police Department received a Crime Stoppers tip about the complainant in this case. They went to a motel located in Jasper County where they found this defendant. They found the tote that was described by the witness. They smelled the distinct odor of decomposition, human decomposition, in the motel room. And they did find what they believed to be the complainant's body wrapped in a black plastic bag, which was secured with duct tape, as described by the witness. They also spoke to another witness who stated that this defendant had asked him to come and pick her up. He met her in Cleveland, Texas, where they drove then to Webster and obtained the tote from the storage unit. He took her and dropped her off at the motel, and then he is the one who reported the Crime Stoppers tip. Based on the fact that she was found in Jasper County with other information that was en route to Louisiana per the statements in the motion, the fact that there is ongoing investigation as to the complainant's cause and manner of death, and that additional charges may be filed once that investigation is complete. We are asking for that amount, also based on the fact that she's currently on bond for a felony domestic violence charge against this minor complainant's biological father, who is the one who had reported him missing. I don't have any reason to believe that a personal bond or a lower bond will be reasonable or sufficient to ensure public safety or to ensure her appearance in court, given the evidence of flight.
Mr. Henderson, what's your request with regard to bond?
Judge, I'm requesting a $20,000 bond. Just pointing out that Ms. Balboa is merely presumed innocent at this time, is merely facing allegations. She's been charged with second-degree felony or force at this point. There's like evidence to charge her with anything happening. Ms. Balboa expected not to flee from prosecution while on a bond. She's never been convicted of any violent offense and has no felony convictions of any kind. She has strong ties to this area and won't be going anywhere else while on bond. She's 29 years old and hasn't lived anywhere else. She has been living at the same address for over 3 years, which also speaks to her ties to the community. Her family, her mother's going to be able to drive her to her court appearances while fighting this allegation while on bond. Like many individuals, she's going through a period of unemployment and has been for the last 2 months now. She was consistently employed for over half a year cleaning homes, which speaks to her ability to show hope. So I'm requesting a $20,000 bond for the second-degree felony charge.
I have a sworn to financial affidavit from Ms. Balboa, which reflects she's been living in a house in Houston for 3 years. She's unemployed. She was not booked into jail with any cash on hand, no money in savings or checking. She is currently on bond for assault, family violence, and PD breathing. A condition of that bond is that she not engage in conduct that results in her arrest. She's scoring a no on the new violent criminal activity flag, a 3 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale, 3 out of 6 on a failure to appear scale. She's an average risk. I do believe she's a flight risk, considering she was in the act of fleeing with this child's body. I'm going to set her bond at $500,000. I am not approving a personal bond. If she is able to post bond, I'm going to order as a condition of any bond that she posts that within 1 day of her release from custody, she get an electronic ankle monitor and she will be under house arrest 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm also going to order she have no unsupervised contact with any child under the age of 17. Anything else? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hours after posting bond, Benjamin Rivera made his way into district court for the very first time. As you mentioned, he is being charged with tampering with evidence involving a human corpse. His bond condition set inside the courtroom just about an hour and 30 minutes ago. Here's a look at Rivera as he approached the judge. The 27-year-old stood in silence as he faced the judge this morning. He was accompanied by his attorney, who lobbied against some of the bond conditions set forth by the Harris County DA's office.
We asked for no contact with his co-defendant's family, as well as the family of little Samuel. And we also asked for house arrest, which the judge granted. And we asked that he not possess any firearms or be around children.
Rivera is the second person arrested in the case of 5-year-old Samuel Olson. His former roommate, Teresa Balboa, little Samuel's dad's girlfriend, also arrested and charged with the same thing. According to court documents, Samuel was last seen by teachers April 30th. On May 10th, Balboa allegedly called Rivera to tell him Samuel was dead and at the apartment the two shared. Rivera and Balboa then moved Samuel's body to a bathtub where it stays for 2 days. On May 13th, Rivera purchased duct tape and plastic taupe, wrapping Samuel's body in a plastic sheet and placing it in a tote he bought. That is before court records say he and Balboa drove the body to a storage facility in Webster and placed it in a unit there. Again, that according to court documents and testimony given by Rivera himself. Little Samuel's body later taken to Jasper and discovered in a motel thanks to an anonymous Crime Stoppers tip.
He has cooperated with our homicide investigator and has been helpful from that perspective. And so we are looking at his statement and trying to verify it with different evidence that we have in order to see, in order to make sure that his statement can be trustworthy.
And the DA's office would not comment on what comes next in this case. They did, however, say they do believe they have located a murder weapon. They would not elaborate on what that murder weapon might be until further testing is done. Also, just then, our Brandon Walker was in the courtroom. He tells me the judge has made small modifications to those bond conditions. Rivera not allowed to be around anyone under the age of 18, but he will now be allowed to be around a cousin who lives at his home who is 17 years old. He is also on house house arrest, but will be allowed to visit with a bail bondsman weekly. Again, small modifications just came down moments ago.
You mentioned two very big developments here. We'll start with the possible discovery of a murder weapon. Harris County prosecutors only saying that they think they may have found that murder weapon. As for what it was, where was it found, they wouldn't give an answer to that. The second part of this is Mr. Rivera, who appeared behind me today in criminal district court today on the charge of tampering with evidence, a human corpse. Much of what he said we already know. That's because of testimony he gave to an HPD investigator. Monday, May 31st, the night Houston police searched an apartment in Webster, shared by Teresa Balboa and her roommate, Benjamin Rivera. Since then, Rivera has gone from witness to co-defendant. Mr. Rivera, charged with tampering with evidence, human corpse in the death of 5-year-old Samuel Olson.
We're not going to stop until we get justice for little Samuel.
Andrea Bell, the prosecutor in this case, on Rivera and what his account means overall in answering the big question.
I say, goodbye.
What happened to 5-year-old Samuel? And as far as Rivera is concerned, what does he know about that?
He has cooperated with our homicide investigator and has been helpful from that perspective.
His perspective, potentially a wide view. The basis for that understanding, testimony Rivera himself gave to HPD investigators as they zeroed in on Teresa Balboa, his ex-girlfriend.
We're not answering any questions at this time.
James Sullivan, Mr. Rivera's attorney, wouldn't comment on the case after court, but arguably the center point of the case is testimony his client gave to investigators. So what does that mean in Rivera's defense? We asked, although we didn't get an answer.
We're not answering any questions at this time.
According to police court documents, police had questioned him at an arm's length in this case. Now, those documents say Rivera told police that Samuel Olson died sometime around May 10th. And according to new documents we obtained overnight, Rivera and Balboa coordinated to hide the body when they expected apartment maintenance to visit their unit. Now, a few days later, that was nearly 2 weeks before he was reported missing. The documents also talk about text messages between Rivera and Balboa discussing the plan to move the body from their apartment to a storage unit and then eventually to a motel in Jasper where police found the remains along with both suspects on June 1st.
The Texas Rangers arrested 27-year-old Dylan Walker of Cold Spring in San Jacinto County yesterday. Adam Bennett shows us what happens next in this case.
Mia, Jasper County will take on Walker's case because that's where his alleged crime happened. Harris County judges will handle court for the other two people charged. Meanwhile, prosecutors say a possible murder weapon is being tested.
Good morning.
The same day the second person charged in this case faced a judge in Houston, the third suspect did too, 2.5 hours away. A Jasper County grand jury indicted Dylan Walker on a charge of tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. That's the same second-degree felony Benjamin Rivera and Teresa Balboa are charged with. Prosecutors say all three tampered with Samuel Olson's body.
It's an extremely serious offense. I mean, especially considering these particular facts that we had a 5-year-old boy whose family potentially would never have ever been able to lay him to rest.
The first suspect arrested was Teresa Balboa. Officers found her inside a Jasper motel room with Olson's body inside a secured plastic tote. Detectives say surveillance video shows a man move the tote from a pickup into that room. Police say that truck was registered to Dylan Walker, and he gave his driver's license at check-in. Walker later allegedly told a Texas Ranger he drove Balboa and a container with a foul odor from a Webster storage unit to that Jasper motel. According to court documents, Walker then told the Ranger he called Crime Stoppers to report Balboa was at the motel, possibly with Olson.
We never, ever know who our tipsters are. The only way a tipster's identity is revealed is if the tipster, him or herself, makes a statement that they called Crime Stoppers of Houston and shared a tip.
Mancarius says if they're made aware a suspect charged was also a tipster, they would not be eligible for their reward.
In a situation where there is credible evidence where the tipster, him or herself, is sharing information that only a suspect would know, or in a situation where our law enforcement call takers, the people who handle our tip line, believe that they are talking to a suspect, somebody involved in the case, that person would not be eligible for the Crime Stoppers reward.
So, like I said, the story got worse. The nerve of these people. She murders him, and then they drag it out. Leave him sitting in the bathtub, tape him up, stuff him in a tote, put him in a storage unit, take him to a motel. Just horrific. And you're 6 years old. If you can imagine the horror. Oh, and get this. The storage unit was about 10 minutes from where Benjamin and this Teresa were living. So they literally probably drove past the storage unit every single day. And then Dylan shows up to meet her in the Walmart parking lot, to go to the storage unit with her, to pick up the tote with, as he said, the foul odor, and drive with her for over an hour. Didn't say a word. He drops her off after he checks her in under his name. And then he calls Crime Stoppers.
A plea deal for Teresa Balboa, who's charged with capital murder in connection with the death of 5-year-old Samuel Olson.
She's accused of killing her boyfriend's child and lying about it. Police said the little boy's body was found in a Jasper motel room.
She's getting 52 years instead of life. And she does have the possibility of parole after 26 years.
Ultimately, Teresa Balboa pled guilty to first-degree murder. We found the punishment is now up to 52 years in prison. She will spend 26 years in prison before she will have the eligibility of parole. But Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers, who is also a victim's advocate, spoke with us outside the courtroom following that hearing today.
The bottom line is Teresa Balboa, who was originally out on a felony PR bond for assault, will now have to serve a minimum of 26 years in prison before she's eligible for parole. That's 26 years, no good time, day by day. And 26 years from now, we'll be there and make sure that she never breathes free air again.
But as I referenced, an emotional day today. There were two people who took the stand for this victim impact statement. One of them was Samuel Olson's mother. This is what she had to say.
Today she admitted to what she did for 52 years and the chance of parole in 26. My son did not even get 6 years of life, and she still gets a chance at one. This is not justice.
God will have the last say. Know that, Teresa Balboa. I understand where Sarah is coming from. Something about that stinks. Yes, we're happy we got her, but I hate plea deals. Y'all know I do. And this is why. She doesn't deserve to see the light of day ever. Ever, ever, ever again. She should go into the prison and go immediately into solitary confinement. The same way Sam was confined into that tote, in that bathtub, in that storage unit, in the back of that damn pickup truck. But I'm still gonna say justice for Samuel Olson, because at least we got her ass. And at least Miss Sarah Olson got to bury her baby. She was on a mission to get rid of that baby's body. So I guess, as they say, a win is a win. May 29th is Samuel's birthday. While all of this was happening to him, he should have been having a birthday party and turning 6 years old. That was in 2021. Happy 8th birthday, Samuel Olson. Gone but not forgotten. Say his name. And I'll see you in the comments, beautiful people.